my goodness, last night, definition of emphatic in my book, 32-6, Queensland over New South Wales. Series is lost for the Blues. Series is won for Queensland. Billy Slater is 2 from 2. The record will show Brad Fittler 3-3 now as State of Origin coach. Obviously, you want to have your say. There will be a lot of people. Tradies News in a nutshell. Lieutenant Dan, just confirm your busiest show ever.
Very, very busy, and a lot of unhappy New South Wales fans.
All righty, we're going to have to. James Magnuson, good morning to you. Even I'm looking at you now on our little team's camera. You look glum. Pick it up, man. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Bossy, what a day.
Port Macquarie.
Well, 6 hours ago, I was sitting in this very chair, calling the game for the Blues bias Origin. Man, that one is a tough pill to swallow, Bossy. Tough pill to swallow.
A very tough call, trying to give bias, give some sort of positivity.
We were having to come up with, I think it was called like a Macca's highlight for the Blues at one stage. Going into half-time, we couldn't find one. There was not a highlight that we could come up with.
Wow. All right, now, what we're going to have to do, because already the text, we haven't even advertised the text line, and the texts are filling up. 0457736736 is the Edgewater Homes text line. What we want to do this morning is give as many people as possible a chance to have your say about, obviously, something that is all-encompassing. There are so many angles to come at. We want to introduce the State of Origin soapbox this morning. So if you've got the chance that you just have a spare minute, on you come on the radio. We'll try and get your call to air as soon as we can. 1300 01 1170. We'll give you 30 seconds. Can you just, in 30 seconds, go bang? He's got to be dropped. He's got to come in. What happens next? Is it going to be 3-0? Particular instance out of the match, who you want to rap, who you want to praise, who you want to say, just have your points maybe jotted down, and we'll let you fly off the handle. On the State of Origin soapbox, where did it go wrong? Where did it go right? You can come at it from a Queensland or New South Wales perspective. Get on the open line, 1300 01 1170. But of course, most of our opinion will be filtered through the text line this morning, James, and it is lighting up already. I ask you to hop on the 30-second soapbox. Where was it won and lost last night? Or what are the standout things for you from last night, James?
Oh, the standout moments, Fossey, obviously Tom Trbojevic going down early made it, well, in the end, an insurmountable hill to climb. Damien Cook put at centre, turned out to be a game-defining decision, the way New South Wales used their bench. But then a couple of big moments. The two big moments for me, Cherry Evans chases down Stephen Crichton. And then when we get ball down their end, just can't score. So it's a pretty basic one. It got ugly in the end, Bossy. It got really ugly. My
instant summation of last night was, and it's interesting because I hosted functions last night. I actually hosted functions at Gambaro's up the road at Caxton Street, which is now owned by the NRL.
Oh, nice.
And I ran between, in the one venue at Gambaro's last night, there were 6 functions going on in the one venue. So down in the car park.
Decent investment by the NRL then.
Restaurant, smaller venue, bigger venue, like hundreds and hundreds of people, if not in the 4 figures. And among the guests, we'd go from room to room, and I interviewed Fatty 3 times. So in different rooms, different audience, interviewed Fatty back to back to back. And he said, in speaking with Jonathan Thurston at the weekend could not contain himself and said how well the Queensland side was training for Game 2, how much they'd improved since Game 1. I'm going, oh, gee, this is before the game he told me this. I'm going, wow, I didn't hear that language used by New South Wales other than training well. I didn't hear like we've gone up 50% or anything like that. I don't think, my honest assessment of last night, real quick assessment, and listeners can shoot me down if they like, I don't think New South Wales improved 1% from Game 1 to Game 2. I really do think Queensland improved, I won't exaggerate, I'll say 30% from Game 1, and that was reflected in the scoreline. What was 6-8 points the first game became 26 in Game 2. That's what I think happened. I don't think New South Wales attack, and I don't want to disrespect the Tigers, but you know, putting an NRL context on it, I thought New South Wales attacked like the Tigers playing a South Sydney attack at their best. Yep. That's what I thought the gaping difference was between the two respective attacks. New South Wales lacked authority. Queensland just played a faster game between Hunt, Grant, Cherry Evans, Munster, Walsh, every time he came in the line, their attack just looks so much slicker. How does that work, James, when you're talking about players of this quality?
Vossi, they did it to us as players, Slater, Thurston, Smith. Now they're doing it to us as a coaching team. Just so superior in every area.
All right, have your say on it. 32-6, 10-0 at half time, despite only having 42% of the ball. Queensland, players like Lindsay Collins played out of their skin. Line up Lindsay Collins to Junior Barlow. You know, and I'm sorry, I'm singling out Junior. I mean, timid, really, and metres got. What did Junior Barlow end up running? 60, 70 metres for the game? I mean, one of your starting front rowers. We need to hear Freddie's reaction before we get your reaction. Pretty sure Freddie would rather have been in a dentist chair undergoing some root canal surgery last night than do a press conference after a lost series in Queensland. James, can I say, now I hate to say I told you so, but when Brad says we just didn't have the cover, you can't cover every position, but you can have an attempt. I'm sorry to call Freddie out on that one, and I did make this point when I said the selection from game 1 to game 2 was I couldn't follow the logic that you don't have a back. In particular, and I was warning them of HIAs. You know, you could lose Tom Trbojevic to an HIA for 15 minutes, you know, and Brandy had said to me, well, Cameron Murray could cover in the back. Well, Cameron Murray doesn't come on to the 47th minute, and Damien Cook plays centre. James, to me, that is a selection blunder, not having back line cover. Like Matt Burton should have been in the 17, not 18th. And that's not speaking with 2020 hindsight. I suggested that a week ago.
Yeah, I could not understand the Cook to centre. Murray's filled in there before at club level. I think he's even filled in there at origin level. He was one of the main differences when he came on the field. I thought he was awesome. Plays 35 minutes, I think, maybe less.
Yeah, 33. Yeah, 47th minute.
33 minutes.
16-0, James. 16-0.
Game's
when
over.
Cameron Murray is standing on the sideline to come into the game.
I mean, Vossi, go figure. Game 1, we said we weren't going to pick any players that couldn't train because they were injured. Game 2, we pick 4 of them. One of them doesn't make it to the game. One of them doesn't finish the game. The selections were just all over the shop. I mean, people have said that the media in New South Wales are death riding Freddie. We're not death riding him, Vossi. We're commenting on what happened.
Yeah, it's footy. It is so big. And Freddie's got the big boy pants on. He understands it. Brandy gets it. You know, we talk about it. We talk about Origin till the cows come home. We talk about it 2 and 3 months in advance. We speculate about who's going to be in the side. So once we've actually got football to talk about or teams selected to talk about, well, James, I'm just going to give you some commentary because that was your commentary, first run. You're on something called the Blues Radio Call.
Yep. What
you had to chime in there with expert comments straight away was this. Can I do it for you? Bullshit. Bullshit. Because that's what would have happened if it was New South Wales who scored the try.
Yeah.
That would have been the chant at the ground last night.
Yeah.
You had to come up with that critical analysis. It's all about timing. And that would have been the perfect comment for there. It was forward, but
it was forward,
forward pass has been happening since 1908.
Yeah.
So, you can't. But, okay. People will blow up at that aspect, and they did come in the first half, so it's only a 10-0 down from those tries. Does anyone out there think that Queensland wasn't a 10-point better side in the first half? In sort of a, figuratively speaking, they were that. I thought they were that good in the first half as well. I can't think of a period of the play where I thought New South Wales were on top, James. How disappointing is that?
No, and a big part of it, Vossi, the New South Wales forwards, we got into good positions. We had so much attacking ball. I'm not sure how it ended up. I'll have a quick look. But at most points during the game, if you look at the statistics, I'm talking metres gained, tackle breaks, missed tackles, everything. We were in the positives for every statistic. We got into the positions and then nothing. Queensland get a sniff. They come down our end once. Boom, try.
Okay, I'll say maybe it's a controversial take. I thought Mitchell Moses was better last night than Nathan Cleary was in game 1. I thought Moses was actually better. If people are talking combinations, I see nothing that reflects, wow, what a good combination. Jerome Luai. To me, there's nothing clicking in that. If you're picking, if you're looking at club combinations, individually, they're great players.
Yeah.
But as a combination, I saw nothing great about combination at all. And I'll stand by that comment and happy to be shot down.
I'll shower or two around today. A gloomy old day in Sydney town, a top of 17 degrees. We'll do Tommy's Tribune today and our regular Thursday guest, but the Origin fallout's in full swing this morning, and I mean full swing. Queensland wrap up the series in emphatic fashion, and I mean emphatic fashion. They did it, so wonderfully well in the end last night. When you look at their performance, 32 points to 6 tries to 1. Queensland 2-0 up. The final game in 3 weeks in Sydney's a dead rubber. So Origin remains in the grip of the Maroons for another year, and so the post-mortem begins. The partying continues in one state, and the post-mortem begins in another, and questions galore about the game, about the series, about the future. So we can address all of those this morning. We can pick apart the game. There are plenty of questions out of that, and the obvious ones around selections. I mean, there's some refereeing howlers as well, the way the game finished, the big moments in the game. So often we've spoken about Origin coming down to big moments, and there were plenty last night. Was there one bigger than Daly Cherry Evans chasing down Stephen Crichton in terms of a big game? What about another big game from Lindsay Collins? So there are plenty of questions galore about the moments in the game, and I want your thoughts on those. Questions about the series up until this point. Well, a lot of those questions are on the New South Wales side of the fence. And again, they're the obvious questions that come back to selections and players and what happens when players go down. And then about the future. So this is where we take it forward. We've still got one game to go. It's a dead rubber, but it's an Origin game. And Origin's Origin. Right? The series is gone for 2023, but Origin's Origin. So we have to discuss the future, obviously, of the New South Wales makeup, and then the future of New South Wales team-wise, coach-wise, staff-wise. The whole lot will have to come under review after this series. I know that you want to have your say this morning, so let's do it.
The Australian coach, of course, is unbiased in his coverage and his viewing of State of Origin after State of Origin 2 when bloody Queensland win.
Oh, Jimmy, sorry, mate. Sorry. It was, I did a bit of throwdown in last night too, just quietly, so in celebration. But anyway, I got to be biased. You know that, unbiased, I should say. I can't help myself. I can't help myself. I'm gone.
That was Freudian.
It's great to be a Queenslander today.
That was Freudian. I think it's great to be a Queenslander any day, isn't it? Particularly after you win 32 points to 6. First of all, congratulations. What a performance from Queensland. What were your first thoughts on when you think about it now, you've given yourself 18 hours, your thoughts on the game last night?
Thoroughly deserved. Just the effort. Both sides were up for it. There's no doubt. The first half was close, and New South Wales didn't take advantage of their opportunities.
Sure.
But Queensland didn't allow them either. I thought Queensland's defence, their composure, their decision-making and their execution in defence was nothing short of near perfect, really. Obviously, losing Tommy Trbojevic early and putting Cookie in the centres didn't obviously help the fluency of the New South Wales attack.
Yep.
But in saying that, at the end of the day, the best team won.
I don't think there's any doubt on that. 32 points to 6. That was overwhelmingly the case. There were some controversial moments in that. There's controversy now in Clubland too. The Gold Coast Titans have decided to part ways with Justin Holbrook effective immediately. Des Hasler is going to join the club in 2024 and beyond. And after the break, we'll get your thoughts on that, Mal. You're still involved there in the Titans, and we'll get your thoughts on that. But all eyes on Origin at the moment. All right. Bloody yippee, yay's come in on the text line.
Oh, dear.
1300 01 1170 if you want to be a part of the show today and speak to Mal. The text line 0457 736 736. All right, let's go through some of the key moments of the match, mate, and get your thoughts on it. I think one of the big ones, the chase by Daly Cherry Evans on a runaway Stephen Crichton and drags him down 15 metres short of the try line. What was your thoughts on that?
It was a moment in game. It was probably 2 minutes in the game that showed where Queensland were at and where New South Wales was at. So obviously the chase, but I was witnessing the game from a live position. It shows some photos, obviously, in the papers today and through all the media. There was 8 Maroon players and 2 in the picture, when Stephen Crichton makes that break. Dalichev Evans chases him down. They make the tackle. Crichton stands up to play the ball. Toho goes into dummy half, and there's 12 Maroons behind the ball on play one. I mean, that was just enormous. And then they defended that set. They showed great composure, great decision-making, like I mentioned. Then all of a sudden, Paddy Carrigan gets the ball, slips through a gap, inside ball to Cherry Evans, who's just made the tackle, goes downfield, and Queensland execute really well, good hands, and Murray Tungalangi scores in the corner. It was an exceptional 2 minutes for Queensland, which sort of, obviously that put the stamp on the game. That's where Queensland are at, from desperation, commitment, commitment to the jersey, and where New South Wales was at.
So we actually watched it again, the highlights in the studio today before coming on for the show, and I paused it at one point when Crichton was about 30 metres out. And within that one frame, that tighter TV shot that we were seeing as we were calling it, Crichton, Brian Tottle, the only two New South Wales players there are 8 Queensland jerseys. Not
Around
just
it,
Daly. Xavier Coates nearly would have, and as you made the point, Mal, if he doesn't stop the try, he makes sure it's a kick from wide out.
That's exactly right. That's what they teach you, at rugby league school, So don't give up on the chase.
Yeah.
Even if they're going to score, make them score as wide out as they possibly can. So, turn it into a 4-point try other than a 6-point try. So, we had 8 players not giving up. But like I said to you, when I was watching it live, and there was 12 players behind the football when he played the ball.
Are you prepared to reveal who the one player who wasn't behind the football?
The fellow that missed Crichton, so there was a kick, I think, and tried to tackle Stephen Crichton. It was David Fafita.
Right. So he
was behind the football on play 2.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, Mal? I've quoted you a couple of times over the course of the last week, and that is the thing that you said last week. And this is painful, Mal, having to do this today on this.
Sorry,
but it's we pick on character.
Yeah.
Jimmy, we pick on character. And I look at a guy like Ruben Cotter. He's played 3 State of Origin games. He's got man of the match in 33% of the games that he's played. He's played every minute.
Yeah. Man, he was incredible. So he started on an edge, so they put Jeremiah Nanai, which I think was a great decision, on an edge to start the game. Obviously, just to, burn the game out. Then Nanai, who's such a great skillful player and he's a great runner of the football, comes on and does what he does. But Ruben started on the edge. They bring Jeremiah Nanai, so Ruben goes into the middle.
Yeah.
And then Dave Fafita went off at the back end of the game. They put Ruben back on the left side. So he's played right edge, he's played middle, and he's played left edge in 80 minutes of rugby league. And all of a sudden, I think he's made something like he was the highest tackle count for the Queenslanders, something like 39-odd, 40-odd tackles. And he had 12 runs for 104 metres. So, I mean, he's an exceptional Origin player and an exceptional player. Ruben will go back to the Cowboys and he'll do exactly the same thing for the Cowboys for the rest of the year. He was on the, as you know, he's part of my Kangaroos.
Yeah.
I've got great admiration for him. And, he's a player that you want to play with. There's no doubt.
And we were calling the game last night with Moses Mbai, and Moses said, I don't think he's played on an edge this year yet for the Cowboys. And yet, when he's asked to do a job, when he's asked to do a job for Billy Slater, he goes, yeah, righto, I'll do that.
Yeah, no, he's he doesn't care, So he's one of those guys that loves rugby league, obviously. And I think we all do. Don't get me wrong, but he just loves because he's gone he's through a torrid time in his career with injuries and things like that. That every moment he relishes, and he actually. That's the way he looks at, playing rugby league. He's blessed. He's got this great sense of gratitude. Obviously he loves putting on the jerseys of the Cowboys and the Maroons and the green and gold. And every time he plays, he treats it like a special occasion.
We had a guy who texted the program a couple of months ago, and the name Ruben Cotter came up, and he said, my young bloke was in the system up there at the Cowboys, and he was a really good athlete. It didn't quite work out for him, but he was a really good athlete, and he said there was only ever one bloke who beat him running up that mountain. That was Ruben Cotter.
Yeah, he's we can't offer any more superlatives for him. So, but he was one one of many really on the footy field last night. It's a game of rugby league, obviously 80 minutes, and we look at everyone's contribution. Lindsay Collins got man of the match, 42 minutes of mayhem, I'm calling it. He did everything. He did everything in 42 minutes to help the team win the contest. I thought Carrigan was good. So there's, I don't know. I mean, it's New South Wales. I don't know. I haven't got any answers for you, Jimmy. To be honest with you, with New South Wales, I don't know. It's like they played with a lack of belief at times. So they had so much football possession, they had so much territory.
Yes.
But Queensland kept on repelling them, and with the talent they got in their footy team, you scratch your head to try to understand why. Why they didn't score more than 6 points.
With the situation with Damien Cook at left centre, so I'll ask you the question very shortly, but I couldn't help but do it. And when the news came through last Friday, I was devastated. But if Latrell Mitchell plays, Queensland don't score at least 2 of the tries that they scored. And I reckon Latrell gets 2 tries this, but he's not there. And so that's the difference. I'll ask you the question, Mal. You're the coach of New South Wales, and Tom Trbojevic ruptures his pec in the first 2 minutes and can't come onto the field. What do you do with your team?
I didn't mind Cookie going to centre initially because he's got a bit of speed and just getting him on the field and trying to save. Fred trying to save his forwards. For the rotation in the middle. So for me, I didn't mind that, but I just needed probably, if I was there, I'd try to put Cookie in the middle because that's where his strengths are. That's where he excels, and that's why he was picked. Through the middle, his speed when the Queensland forwards are fatiguing. That's his strength. Him, and they'd have Cam Murray work with him as well. So that combo would work really well at any level. It certainly works for the Rabbitohs. And then you obviously have, Liam Martin's played in the centres. Obviously Youngie and Cam Murray have played in the centres as well. So and Isaiah Yeo, he's actually started off in the centres in his career. For Penrith Panthers. So you had four edgies or 4 forwards that could play in the centres. So keeping him there all night, you probably scratch your head with. But I didn't mind him starting Cookie to get him on the footy field. But eventually he had to go in the middle, I think, and do that combo with Cam Murray. Cam Murray only played 33 minutes last night as well, so
yes.
They put him on till the second half. He didn't even play. And when Cam came on, all of a sudden he was finding space in between defenders and he's getting quick play of the ball. Then all of a sudden, off quick play of the ball, your dummy half runs, doesn't it?
Yes.
So and that's when Tedesco comes into the game as well. So your captain, one of your best players, comes into the game when you start to get really good, strong ruck speed. So yeah, it was a bit scratch my head moment, but it is what it is, isn't it? So and that's what I said before. With Tommy going down early, it's a bit unfair on Cookie obviously to defend out in the centres, for the whole game against quality opposition.
So the other thing from my point of view with that, Mal, is that with one injury you made 2 positional changes. Like Brad Fittler and his crew made 2. He made Cook into the centres and he also took Crichton from the left to the right. I thought there might have been a plan for New South Wales with Luai, with Crichton, and with Addo Carr, and maybe make Xavier Coates make some decisions. And a couple of times they had them there and they needed the quick hands of a centre and they had Damien Cook there. And it's unfair to put pressure on him to say, that's what you should have been doing.
Yeah, so, and I agree with you there, but you go back to game 1, Stephen Crichton had opportunities on the left side to pass quick hands as well, and he didn't quite get it right either,
True.
to be honest with you.
True.
So that's why Stephen Crichton's playing on the right, in my opinion, for the Panthers, is that his skill set's probably better set for the right side. And then Cookie obviously has a penchant to run left. But yeah, I mean, I can understand the change. And when you're executing, your left side execution is generally better because if you're right-handed, the passes go to hand and go a lot quicker, don't they? So you execute a lot better down your left side. So but then you've got a left side player like Hudson Young. You got a left side player like Cam Murray. You got a left side player. I think Yeo played it on the left side as well. Yeah. And Liam Martin can play either side. So I think Cam Murray's got quick hands. Hudson Young's got quick hands. I guess you learn your lessons, don't you? But we're making judgments in hindsight too. So
True.
it's not on the fly. There's no outside back that can replace him. Can you imagine if Nico Hines? We can do ifs and maybes and buts and if Nico Hines is playing 14, all of a sudden he can play out there. But anyway, it's.
Well, the big
water under a bridge, mate.
The big if, Mal, is if Latrell Mitchell doesn't knock on Freddie's door on the Friday. Well, I mean, he's got the skill. He's got the skill to catch pass skills. That's why he plays left centre, So having him there would have been an asset, there's no doubt. And obviously they've missed him in game 1 and 2 because those opportunities down their left side were there in game 1. They didn't quite get it right either. Yeah. Absolutely. Can I ask you this, Mel? And you told us earlier you're unbiased, right? So you've got to answer in a truthful fashion.
In an unbiased way.
In an unbiased way. Was David Fafita's pass to Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow in the lead up to Murray Taulungi's try forward?
No, it was flat.
Oh, come
No, well, hang on a sec. So you're this typical adversarial, way of putting things from a New South Wales point of view. So at the moment he passed the ball, Jimmy.
Yes.
At the moment he passed the ball, he was hit in the tackle that pushed him backwards.
Right. Now, do you believe?
So
I'm watching. I'm looking at you.
So you've stopped a bit of footage before. You said you stopped a bit of footage.
Yes.
8 Maroons in there. So you stopped the footage. As he's catching the ball, ready to pass it, right?
Yes.
Without him getting tackled, without going backwards and see where the ball projected from. Did it go flat or did it go forward? It could have even gone back because I haven't got that technology.
Come on.
It could even have gone backwards. I don't know.
Oh, God. What about this? So lots of text messages coming in. So how good are the Aussie cricketers? Forget the New South Wales.
Yeah.
We're ready to move on. We're ready to move on from this.
Well, we get Pat Cummins to come into the side. Nathan, in Lions, he come into the side.
Absolutely.
Bit of experience.
Bit of it. The New South Wales Blues guys won the test for Australia over there in England. And by the way,
there you go. I'm giving you one. I'm giving you something. There you go.
And can I also say the bloke who got man of the match, Usman Khawaja. I know he lives in Queensland, but he's a Blue as well.
Yeah, but a very keen Raiders supporter. He
Usman?
prefers to live in the ACT. Yeah, he loves the Raiders.
Does he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. I'll tell you what, lots of text messages coming in from Mal. We'll get to them very shortly. So many other big moments in the game last night.
Hello and welcome, Matty. How are you going?
Gentlemen, how are you?
I'm going good, Matthew. What are you up to this afternoon?
Mate, I'm absolutely nothing. Fletch, I've been reading a book called The Last of the Action Heroes, which sounds very... It's on the life of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Van Damme, Sylvester Stallone, all the stuff that went on behind the films, and it is, I must say, it's fantastic. It's a great read.
Who wrote it?
I have no idea, Fletch.
Okay.
I can't answer that one. Not a Pulitzer Prize winner.
Okay.
Have you watched Arnie's new series on Fox, Matty? Fubar?
James, I watched an episode of it last night. Man, he's an impressive dude.
No, you two are talking about the different shows. There's
sorry.
a Fubar.
Is there 2 Fubars?
No, there's one Fubar. It's dog shit.
It's terrible.
And then there's one about the life of Arnie. A doco.
Oh, right. No, Fubar's the new one that I think Arnie must have written it because it's awful.
Yeah, it's shocking.
Right.
He's like a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah, and the dialogue's terrible. Anyway,
Yes.
Don't do yourself a favour. Ignore it. Origin 2, Matty. We've been... Well, the last hour we've just done lots of Origin. I'm sure you're pretty keen to talk it. Why did we lose again, mate?
Oh, look, James, it's funny watching the match. Like, little things just make a big difference. I actually think during the match, watching the start of the game and watching it again, I thought actually Queensland started quite nervous. A little shaky, like Reece Walsh, I thought was nervous, let a couple of balls bounce and whatnot. Crucial moment. A couple of little things, as I said before, make a difference. Jerome Luai, about 8 or 9 minutes in, goes for a repeat set, just hits it a fraction too hard, 7 tackle set. They go down the other end and score. Like, if that ball sits up at the end goal, then we got the opportunity. Little moments like that. I mean, it wasn't... I must say that the nature of the contest didn't feel to me like it was a flogging. It got away from him towards the end there. But they got beaten in the Ardich battle as well. The Queensland forwards were just fantastic. Lindsay Collins, unbelievable. Carrigan, not far behind. Tino, one of the, unlucky not to get man of the match. Flegler, it just goes on and on and on. When in the first two games, I think it's probably hard to find a New South Wales player, more than one or two New South Wales players who really played to their potential. And as far as Queensland's concerned, hard to find a Queensland jersey that didn't.
Matty, so when you take over next year, because the reports are that you're taking over, who are you bringing alongside you?
Are you interested, Fletch?
Oh, well, mate, you work with two back rowers who represented New South Wales, so
Well, is it true?
we're
Matty,
very, very keen.
Fletch was saying he was voted the 35th best player for New South Wales ever. Is this true?
No, it was in the paper.
I
wasn't
didn't see
voted.
the list.
Brit
Whenever they put
voted.
best of lists of New South Wales players, I deliberately don't look at it. But hey, I tell you what's funny. Okay, when it sort of came out this morning, the people are saying that they should have a yarn to me. I've had about 5 phone calls today. I've had 5 phone calls, not from media, from people just going, yeah, Matty, yeah. Now, mate, if you do get it, what are you thinking? I was like, mate,
really?
had a few phone calls, but no,
I didn't think so.
Do you know, Fletch, the bottom line is, I'd never put my hand up. But you'd never say, I'd never do it. You don't know what circumstances come up into the future.
True.
The bottom line is they're not looking for a coach at the moment. But the Origin job, to even consider it, you'd actually look at it and say, if I can't give the campaign 100% focus, my entire focus, then I wouldn't even consider it. And at the moment, I've got that much on my plate.
Yeah.
That you couldn't find the hours to do it, and it's not just the coaching as well. It's you got sponsors, dues, dinners, you got charities and whatnot to do. It's a lot bigger job than just coaching a side for 6 weeks.
Mate, we've got to have this conversation, and I don't like talking about this.
You do look a bit sad here, Fletch.
James Tedesco, do you think that's his final, or do you think this will be final series?
Fletch, it's been an unhappy series, but he's been playing. He's been operating behind a pack of forwards that have been outmuscled in both games. That haven't been able to get any traction in the yardage game. Look, Fletch, I believe that they should allow him to finish this series.
Yes,
and make a decision after that. Teddy's getting to that point. He might actually say, you know what, I might take a step back from representative football. We've seen that with a lot of guys over the years to prolong their club career, but not just yet. I think he deserves this third game.
Yeah, no, I agree. Were you impressed with Mitch Moses? Did you think
Again, the same point. I was impressed. I thought his first half was very good. Again, he's a half that is playing behind a pack of forwards that was badly beaten. So that's very, very hard. I think all things considered, he was right up for the contest. I thought he played strong. I thought he defended really well.
Yeah.
A couple of missed kicks here and there, but mate, I thought Mitchell was good. See, here's the really tricky thing for Freddie going into Game 3. It's like, righto, what do we want out of Game 3? Well, of course, you don't want them to sweep the series. I think every Origin match stands on its own merit, so you want to win the game, of course. But are we looking now to blood some guys to see what they can do as next series? But by the same token, I mean, do you change? Do you actually start to cast aside more and more guys? We've seen what happened with Nico Hines and the effect it has on those players. Like, for instance, young Stefano, who they've took a punt on and put him in the side. I think he only played about, maybe 10, 15 minutes. But in my opinion, you have to pick him in this third game. You have to pick him. If you're going to take a punt on the kid who's still a project player and put him in the squad, you can't cast him aside for the third game. It breaks his heart.
Do you think, remember when Queensland did this, I think might have been the Alfie comeback game? No, was it the one before that? Yeah, it was the one before that, when they had 9 changes. And that's when they had Johnny Doyle come in and
2001 series.
Carl Webb,
Yep.
and they just went right. Gone.
Yep.
The old guys. Thanks very much. See you later. We're bringing the new breed in.
Yeah. I remember that first set of 6. I was watching from over in Wigan, Fletch. New South Wales kicked off. It was at the old QE2 Stadium, that ANZ Stadium there, the one they had in Brisbane. It was a bludger to play at. But we kicked off to them, and they scored in the first set. They just went power, 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 kick to the corner, bounced up, and they scored. I remember just watching that game going, they picked this such a young, unheralded team, but just won through desire, led by our men, the merry goon, old Gordon. So I know what you're getting at, Fletch. Do we start to look like that? I think possibly, but I still think, like the third game, if you're going to make some sort of changes, I come back to the fact that, I would have loved to have seen Cody in that game too.
Yeah.
In good touch. And, in game 3, regardless if he's played much football or not, Latrell goes into left centre and you let those two blokes form combination. I think you definitely stay with Reece Robson.
Yeah.
Very strong, having to play 80 minutes. Cookie at 14 again, but this time you don't play him in the centres.
Yeah, well, that was odd. I found it really strange that Fred came out and said, yes, so we practiced about this. We talked about this. If a centre went down, Cookie was always going to the centre. I thought when it went down, okay, this is pretty simple. Isaiah Yeo. But a lot of people saying
Cameron Murray was sitting there. He was ready to go.
Cameron, I just thought Isaiah to left centre. Especially after that, when we could see on TV how small Damien Cook looked when they kicked for Coates. I was just thinking, wow, he's tiny.
I know it's easy. People will say, but in hindsight. But the moment he went there, it just didn't look right.
No, it didn't look right.
You just went, okay, what's happened here? There's been I was waiting for there to be another movement somewhere. The Cookie went to a certain position. Reece would become a running player. put Isaiah Yeo to the edge. But no, he stayed there. I would have actually, I would have. I would have put Cam Murray and Hudson Young together on that edge. Don't know who would. Take your pick. Who plays 13? Who plays edge defender? I think both were capable of doing a really good defensive job on that side. And then you'd have the option with Murray and Isaiah Yeo. They could, one goes to the edge, one goes to the middle during different periods of the game. Gives you a little bit of variation. And that was the other thing, is that I think in the cut and thrust and all the pressure, sometimes it's so easy to lose. I can imagine it's easy to lose track of your interchange and everything that's going on, and for Cam Murray not to get on until almost 10 minutes into the second half. It's sort of hard to believe.
It was hard to believe. I tell you, one definite player is going to be there, and if he's not, that's it. I'm giving up watching rugby league. Our man, serial killer, Campbell Graham. No excuses now. No excuses. We're short on a centre. He slots straight in.
Straight in. Let's get our man in there. I agree with you, Fletch.
Cody in, just to see what this team could do. And don't forget, young Pappy too. Like, this might be the time for him. I know we're talking about Dylan Edwards. He's a bit out of sight, out of mind.
Pappenhouse.
I know he's not back this year, but I'm saying looking forward to next year. We could do with a little bit of speed at the back.
And it's always the way, Fletch. We've got lots of options. It's just finding the right one. I think sometimes, you see, one of the things that got me into trouble with a family member is rapping Billy, but you see with Billy just how definite. That's the one thing about them, this whole series and the whole build-up. Everything around Queensland has been definitive. The way they spoke about how they're going to play their selection policies. He made some shock selection policies, but he knew exactly what he was looking for. I just think sometimes with New South Wales, we're not sure if we want to pick guys in form or guys that have done it before or take a risk with guys. It's sort of hard to work out how we select teams.
Now, Matty, obviously there big celebrations in Queensland today, but the other big news out of there, Justin Holbrook sacked Desi Hasler to the Titans. What can Desi do up there, Matty?
I think he'll do very, very well, James. The Titans are building a really, really strong roster. The only thing they lack, I think, the only thing they lack is another experienced guy in the spine, someone like, Ben Hunt, that's another thing going on at the moment. But it wouldn't surprise me if that's where Ben ended up. If the Dragons release him, of course, it's a different story. But Yeah, I think he'll do really well there, Des. I reckon they're I think this year it's funny when a change of coach happens, and I think it's really smart from Des not going in there right away now, because you want to do an off season to bed down your own philosophies and stuff like that. You don't want to be at the mercy of what another coach has put in. But mate, these players now, although Des is not coaching them, they're playing for Des. I think you'll see a really big lift in their performance. I actually think they're a serious chance of playing finals football. I really like the look of the Titans squad.
I tell you what I'm locking now after what I saw. I think the Brisbane Broncos can win the comp.
Oh, geez.
I agree with you.
I
agree.
was watching them last night. So you had Payne Haas, obviously, and you got Carrigan and Flegler, you got the kid at the back who's dynamite.
Yeah.
And then you look at the team, the players that didn't make Origin, like Tony Staggs, and then you got guys who have actually Selwyn, who would have been in there, is injured.
Hey, how good Ezra Mam's playing?
Mam, you got Renault. I just think
I agree with you, Fletch. I was sitting there this morning going, well, mate, I went, geez, I reckon the Broncos, mate, they'll be shortening up, Fletch. I think they're a massive chance of winning the comp.
We can get about 450, but as He-Man says, Matthew.
So don't be fooled by those who say they have a sure thing. There's always a catch to it.
That's true, Matthew.
Some of your sure things over the years.
Oh, who found that, Fletch? Were you watching He-Man at home?
Mate, I love... Now, James,
Yeah.
I was watching... During COVID, me and the girls were sitting around and watching old shows. And I said, girls, you got to watch... Because, they've got the YouTube. I said, let's watch He-Man. And I hadn't watched it for ages. Anyway, they're watching it. They're a little bit younger. Mate, the sexual innuendo. Yeah. His best mate is Fisto and Ram Man. So they get into a fight. This is God's honest truth. Ram Man and Fisto get into a knuckle in the Brasco, and the sounds you hear coming out, it is bordering on soft porn. And then He-Man runs in. He had a vest on and really tight pants. And he runs in and goes, ooh, 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 like, and rescues him. Mate,
my son has just started watching He-Man. He asked me to watch it. He's done like
nothing wrong with that.
You don't want to get started on Skeletor.
No.
No.
Skeletor talks about getting on the Persians.
Really?
Yeah. He talks about
I saw a
getting
thing recently.
Skeletor.
There was a thing in Pinocchio recently about there's a character in it that's trying to lure 12-year-old boys to an island. Have you seen that? It's like in the 1950s. Mate, these Disney films, they
hardcore.
Yeah.
Now, Matthew, on a personal note, your wife, Trish, she's back from Italy. Did she bring you home anything?
Yeah. She brought me back a pair of walk shorts that are absolutely horrendous. Oh. And they're size 38 as well. I was sort of thinking that there might have been, I don't know, there might have been someone else's over there. It's just
so, was there a
it's like, mate, when it's in Rome or a little bit south.
Yeah. And the women love Italians. Well, is it because of their good looks, or is it because they're quite upfront? Or what is it about the Italian men?
Trish, Fletch and James were asking, what is it about the Italian men that women love? Here, I'll pop her on, mate. She'll give you a rundown and ask what his name was.
Well, you know what I noticed.
Yes, Trish. Welcome back, by the way. Buonasera.
Thank you. Did you miss me?
Buonasera.
Hello. Hey, James. How are you?
Good,
I met your lovely girlfriend the other week.
Don't tell my wife.
Hang on.
Wrong James.
I hope so.
That could have been awkward.
This is not the missile, Trish.
Oh, okay. Not Magnuson. Okay. I apologize.
How did you work out which girlfriend it was with the missile?
Ooh, and that's how rumours start.
Yes, exactly. The question to you, Trish.
Yes.
What is it about Italian men? Because a lot of women think they're quite attractive. Is it the forwardness of it, the abruptness of them?
No, actually, I can't say I came across many Italian men.
Oh, okay. You went to Italy, though, did you?
Yeah, I went to Italy.
Is it because they can cook? They're very good chefs.
No, I don't think they cook. No.
Okay.
What I did observe was that on a Saturday afternoon, I noticed a lot of Italian men out shopping with their wives. Now, I can't bribe or drag Matt by the ear to get him to come shopping with me. And what I also noticed was they paid.
They what?
They
Oh,
paid.
for the shopping.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Oh, look,
Like I'm talking clothes shopping.
Oh, okay. You're
And they were very invested. They were offering opinions and zhuzhing and.
Well, they dress
Yeah.
very well, the Italian men. They wear a
Yeah.
high heel.
yeah,
like
because
a
they're very
Cuban
short.
heel. Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, Mussolini
He
wore.
was tiny.
Okay.
Tiny man.
Cuban heel, yeah.
Yeah, Matt, I should have brought Matt some of those back.
What was it good though, Trish? Did you have fun?
Healed. Oh, it was beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
it was very short, but it was incredibly beautiful. Yeah, and it was really fun.
Did you pack on a few pounds?
No,
You know, with all the
I
pasta
didn't
and stuff?
actually.
No.
I'm going to actually say I might have lost a little bit.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of dancing going on.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Italian wedding.
And we need to get to the bottom of the size 38s, the walking shorts you bought.
Oh, look, well, I think it's a size issue, and I think that they're a small make. And they're not a 38, they're a 36.
Well, they wear them small in Italy, right? Like the
Yeah,
men wear them.
so-
It's a European cut.
Yeah.
Pretty tight. Yeah, so I figured I'd made some allowances for Matthew and all that he had to tuck in, and I sorted it out. It's fine.
What about was it crowded? Did many Aussies over there? Because every second person from the eastern suburbs seems to be over in Europe.
They absolutely do, and we did come across a lot. Well, I mean, I was over there with a whole lot of Aussies, but yeah, loads of people, and everyone, new people coming day by day.
Wearing the
Yeah.
bintang singlets. All right,
No,
Trish.
they're a different type of
Yeah.
tourist in Italy, I think.
They can't. Yeah, that's the fancy ones.
Aussie tourists. Yeah.
Trish, I know you got to get back to cooking. What's for dinner tonight? What are you going to cook?
Something. We're doing a grilled pan-fried chicken breast in a creamy sun-dried tomato sauce.
Sounds good. No,
It will be.
no pasta then. Just all.
No pasta.
No.
No pasta. Do you want to speak to my husband again?
Ah,
No,
yeah. Has he
yeah.
got the shorts on? Make him wear those shorts. I want to see what.
No,
they...
but I tell you what, I'll send you a picture of him in them.
Yes, please.
They're very Italian. They've got lemons on them.
Oh, okay. Of course, there's a lot. Yeah,
They like lemons? Oh, limoncello.
yeah, lemon.
Lemon, they love lemon.
limoncello.
Lemon for everything.
Yeah.
Cleaning, eating, you name it.
Oh, gelato? They love a lemon gelato.
Sorbet.
Yes, they do.
So they reckon the
Granita.
the fair income gelato. So we say we get fair income gelato here.
We don't?
No, because the preservatives and that prop it up. So the real good gelato doesn't have it's flat. It doesn't stay up high, like Matthew's pants. Can we speak to him, please, Trish?
I'll put him on. See you, boys.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
Trish.
Bye. Ciao.
Ciao.
I tell you what, if that's what we're having for dinner, it'll be another night on the bogger. I tell you what,
Oh, we'll be.
it's been a rough few days.
Yeah.
So Sunday night,
Yeah, I'm with you.
with the show, maybe we went and
Don't say the
I-
brand.
no,
and
we won't.
everybody's come down, have they?
Yeah,
But
well,
it was a fast food restaurant.
Matty was
And,
talking about.
well, it's not a restaurant. You know, it's one of those Uber things, but you get from one of those places. Anyway, I've had something to eat on the Sunday night. Come back, was absolutely crook. About 2 or 3 of the other boys were really crook. And then we, this is a little awkward. But then we
Yeah, you can't
did
say it.
something
You can't
somewhere.
say
No,
it.
we can't.
You
We can't. But put it this way, is that multiple people on the drive back might have saw themselves.
so I.
What, in the
No.
car? You've done that before.
Oh yeah, I nearly happened again.
Was it the same joint?
Same sort of type
Yeah,
of food.
because
So I
you-
went into this rank servo. It was a tyre joint, and I said, "Mate, I've got to use your Brasco," and he goes, "We don't have one." I said, "Mate, I need to use your toilet," and he said, "Mate, no, you can't." I said, "Well, mate, if you don't, I'm going to shit. I'm going to shit in your on your floor because I had nowhere to go." And he said, he could tell in my face that I was being fed in him, and he took me upstairs to the staff toilet. I had to go. This bloke came out with his he wanted to blue me.
Yeah.
A mechanic with all these rank hands are all like had all black under his nails, and he thought the knuckle was on. And I didn't want any bar of that. I just said, "Mate,
I've
I've got
just got to
yeah.
relieve myself.
Oh, it was awful, Matthew.
Mate, I was driving down our street literally with one leg out the window so I could hurry up and mate, listen, you pulled up and you opened it. And once you start to run, it's like, it's panic stations. It's like it just increases everything. And mate, literally I threw myself at the bowl.
Yeah.
It was
Close to the
It
greatest
was-
feeling in the world, though, isn't it?
But is
Once
it?
you sit there.
But I started. I was
It's
sweating.
better than anything.
I was sweating. Is it that?
Yeah,
Is that
yes.
adrenaline kicking in, or because I was panicking?
Can we talk to someone about this? Do we,
Dr. Mark, if you're out there, Dr.
can we-
Mark.
when you need
the
to.
one. The one you've got to be careful of is the no sugar chewy. The chewing gum, the no sugar chewing gum. If you have too much of that, mate, it absolutely just triggers me massively. I did one day. I was walking home when I was riding a push. It's a lot anyway. I was walking home and I had all this chewing gum in my mouth. I was getting bored and just putting more and more pieces in. Next minute, the stomach started just rumbling, and I'm going, oh, surely I'll be okay. I'll get home. I was 10 minutes away, and I realised I didn't have a key to get in. So panic stations. I've looked across the park near my place, and there's a public toilet right at the other side. So I had to run across Pittwater Road. And the moment I started to run, it was all over. There were people walking their dogs, and I was squatting in the park, right? Just
What is wrong with you?
I know.
We've
it
all
was
been
so
there,
bad.
though.
You know, and then you're trying to wipe your clacker with sticks and stones. It was just
Oh, it's one of the worst feelings. Because then I was starting to look around in the car when I didn't find the rank servo. I was thinking, I'm going to have to put something down on these seats. I don't want to damage the seats.
No, of course not. What,
mate.
before you actually...
Before I found the little bodgy tyre joint.
0457 736 736. Whenever you soiled yourself in public, should we shout out just whenever you shat yourself in front of everybody?
Jason Larry pooed his pants playing. We were playing the Tigers, and I'll never forget. We kicked downfield, and I was running behind him, and he must have had something on his guts.
Yeah.
And we had white shorts, and it just filled up the white shorts. Front row, I had to pack me big lemon spread.
Where did you? Wasn't there a famous? Isn't there a journalist that you've got a story
Oh,
about?
yes. I won't go into that.
Matty, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, year 9. He shit himself in year 9.
I don't.
He knows who he is.
He'll be listening. I think he listens to the show.
I won one day. I was coming home from school, desperate to go, ran down the house a million miles an hour. You know, where you just honestly you got your shorts just off, and went bush on the seat, and the toilet seat was down.
Oh no!
Oh, Matthew.
Yeah. The old man thought that was just hilarious. Bloody idiot.
All right, we got a glass coffee. We got a glass coffee table here. I'm at the hammer.
I'm getting the hard wind up in here.
Yeah,
You guys
we
not enjoying this? Or?
I'm glad you said wind up.
That goes without saying, Matt. Loving to chat.
Thanks, Matthew.
Thank
Righto,
you.
boys.
Enjoy the night off. No show.
Oh, you're not on? Oh, how good.
Sunday
Rip
we're
in.
back on. And who's on the show, Matthew?
We've got Caitlin Ponga on Sunday night.
There you go.
Yeah.
KP.
And tomorrow on the show we've got
of course.
Webby, and of course it's Denon.
Oh,
Because,
he'll be skiting.
He'll be pumped.
Yeah, well,
So he should.
it's a fair side. Matthew, enjoy the paddleboarding this afternoon.
Mate, there's a little bit of lightning around. I won't be doing that.
See you, Matty.
See you, boys.
Bye.
So, Matty Johns, thanks to Chemist Warehouse. Right now, get 40% off the everyday low price of all healthy care vitamins at Chemist Warehouse.